Welcome, everybody, to Arizona Legislative District 18 Democrats meeting tonight. This is our monthly general meeting. My name is Larry Bodine, and I'm the chair, and we have an excellent program for you tonight.
Very
Well, let me
good.
turn the microphone over to our loyal first vice chair, Ricky Sage, to introduce Yolanda.
Democrats of LD 18. We are proud to be Democrats of LD 18. We're proud to be Democrats in Arizona. And our speaker tonight is the chairwoman of the Arizona Democratic Party, Yolanda Bejarano. In your bio, you say that you are the daughter of immigrants and a lifelong Arizonan raised in Arizona, and you were the field director for Communications Workers of America, and you trained and recruited union members to build worker power. Yay. You're an organizer at Heart and Values grassroots movements. At the last election, you were elected by a large margin, and it's an exciting time in Arizona. I turn it over to you, Yolanda, to talk to us about all the wonderful things going on in the Arizona Democratic Party.
Thank you all. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really happy to be here and to join your LD18 monthly meeting. Thank you, LD18 Chair Larry Bodine and First Vice Chair Ricky Sage. And thank you all of you who took the time to be here this evening. It's great to see many familiar faces of folks who have been active within the party, helping Democrats win across the state and fighting for our shared values. But I think we can all agree that the future of our state and of our country is in jeopardy. We're seeing election denialism, extremism, and discrimination being normalized by the Republican Party on a daily basis. It's wrong, it's frankly disgusting, and we must organize around it. And I know politicians and people like to say that this is the most important election in our history, but that may very well be the case for Arizona this cycle. The path to the White House runs through Arizona. President Biden does not win re-election unless he wins Arizona. The path to a Senate majority runs through Arizona. And we have the opportunity to put real civil servants in the House to represent Congressional District 6 and Congressional District 1. We also have a clear path to victory to flip the Arizona legislature. And we can elect Democrats to the Corporation Commission, people who will actually fight for Arizona's working families. But these are all incredibly competitive races. And we at the Arizona Democratic Party, we're focused on reminding voters of what exactly is at stake here, of the contrast between Republicans and Democrats. Donald Trump is willing to incite an insurrection if he doesn't win, and he will drag our country backwards if he does. And Carrie Lake will help enact a national abortion ban, and will be right next to Donald Trump spreading lies and conspiracy theories. And Juan Ciscomani and David Schweikert will continue to be Trump's puppets and play politics with the issues that Arizonans care most about. And Shauna Bullock and Justine Wadsack, Rachel Jones, and Cory McGarr will all continue to peddle MAGA extremism, lying about elections, calling immigrants rapists and criminals, banning abortion, and so on. And these are all races that Democrats were competitive in this last cycle. And since 2020, each of these Republican candidates have demonstrated exactly why they are toxic for Arizona's future. And I'm incredibly confident that we can win the State House and State Senate with strong Democratic candidates like State Senate candidate John McLean, who has been in the district for more than 30 years and has brought hundreds of jobs to our state with his business experience. Candidates like Kevin Volk, running for LD17 House, who is a well-known business owner and education advocate. And we need to protect Keith Seaman in LD16, who won by just 600 votes last cycle in the district where many statewide Democrats lost. And we can actually make the Corporation Commission work for our families with candidates like Joshua Polachek, a foreign service officer who fought for Arizona's best interest for over 20 years. Candidates like Ilenia Aguilar, a clean elections candidate at the front lines of water issues facing Arizona, and Arizona native and aerospace engineer Jonathan Hill, whose technical background would be an asset for all of us on the commission. So each of these Dems also need your help, whether that be financial support, collecting signatures to get on the ballot. And like Chair Bodine just said, April 1st is the deadline. Whether it be knocking on doors to get out the vote as we get closer to election day, or whatever it is that you can do to help these candidates. It's going to take all of us, but we can do it. I really do believe that this is the most important election Arizona has seen in so long. And so again, I thank you all for taking the time to be here and for staying involved as we get closer to November. So now I believe I'm going to open it up for questions.
Let me just get the ball rolling, Yoli, with a question of my own. You had said earlier that the pathway to the U.S. congressional and Senate majorities in Arizona are on a path to succeeding. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, yeah, I think it's really about having those conversations with Arizonans in across the entire state, but in particular focusing in on districts that we can flip. You know, in Congressional District 6, we lost Congressional District 6 by about 5,000 votes. Congressional District 1, we lost by about 3,000 votes. These are tiny, tiny margins. Congressional District 6, we have a fantastic candidate. Congressional District 1 is a competitive district, but we have, Juan Ciscomani, who just endorsed Donald Trump. Juan Ciscomani, who voted against one of the strongest border bills that was proposed, and he voted against that, and then a few days later goes to the border to take a picture. So he's not a serious person. They don't want solutions. Like Donald Trump told them not to vote in favor of this because it was not going to help their election. They want to continue to weaponize the border and want to continue to weaponize immigration and demonize people. Yes, we have a problem. We do have a problem at the border. We need to have border security. We also need to treat people humanely, and Congress needs to act on a solution, but they don't want that. David Schweikert in CD1, he is under how many ethics investigations? He is also voted to overturn the results of the election for, I think it was Pennsylvania. He is somebody that District 1 will reject. And I feel confident that District 6 and District 1 will flip to Democratic candidates. And it's about doing the work, talking to people at the doors, talking to them about the stark contrast between our candidates and what our candidates stand for and what our values are and what these Republican MAGA, elected officials offer. And really what they offer are, what have Republicans done for Arizona? They just offer tax cuts for the rich. That's what I've seen them offer. I have not seen anything else. They have not lowered prescription drug prices. They have not brought jobs back from other countries. They're not doing anything to help Arizonans. So I think, it's going to be a tough fight, but we're going to do it. And I think most people are sick and tired. I do believe the spell has been broken for a lot of people with Trump, especially with his, all the convictions, all the legal trouble he's in. I think people are starting to realize that any money they give to the Republican Party is going to go to pay Trump's legal bills. So yeah, I mean, there's a path forward, and it's going to take a lot of organizing, a lot of one-on-one conversations, and really trying to meet people where they're at.
We have a few questions in the chat. First one is, how is AZ Dems helping candidates?
Well, I mean, right now we are pushing text messages out to get that final push. That's what we've been focused on for the past several weeks, making sure that that Democrats go to Equal. We send them the link. Of course, we don't, we can't put people's names on there, but we're asking Democrats to go on to Equal and sign candidates' petitions to help get them across the finish line. And so that's a massive effort that we're doing right now. Another thing is for legislative candidates, that's the ADLCC, a project of the party. ADLCC offers candidate services. They offer trainings. I mean, really, it's like anything that a candidate needs, we will get them. We will try to get them or direct them to where they need to go. We also maintain our data file. This is where the information that's in our van that is maintained by our data team. It's a big, project that our fantastic data director, takes on. So I think that this is, it's a big, it's something that we provide to folks at a fair cost.
All right, thank you. Can you share what the DNC will be doing differently this election to help Arizona win these key races?
Yeah, so the DNC has already invested pretty heavily in Arizona. We were able to open up two field offices, one in Maryvale and one in more central Phoenix, and there will be more offices open. But this is a DNC, funding for a Latino organizing project, and it's a relational organizing project. It's this idea that people will answer your call or your text or an email. They'll answer it more than, if it's coming from somebody that they know or that they trust. If you share social media, meme, whatever it is, anything that comes from somebody that you know will more than likely be taken a little bit more serious than, or taken more to heart than if it's from a complete stranger. So it's this idea, it's growing out this relational organizing project. So yeah, the DNC is really, really heavily invested. I'm on, our executive director Morgan and I are in constant communication with the DNC over communications when something's coming down the pipeline, or if there's something that hit the news, and we're all constantly working together to make sure that we are aligned in our messaging and make sure that what we are putting out, it doesn't contradict what they, what their goals are, their plans are. So yeah, we're working really closely with the DNC. I think they know they must, that President Biden needs to win Arizona to be reelected. So we are a full battleground. We get treated like, royalty, Morgan and I, wherever we go, like everybody knows that, okay, we're not going to upset Arizona. We're going to work with them, and it's been a great relationship so far. So they are heavily invested.
Okay, thank you. Next question. What's the best way to flip the Corporation Commission?
Yeah, the best way to flip the Corporation Commission, the three candidates, we just had it was sort of a online town hall, like a virtual town hall with them, and they're fantastic candidates. They're phenomenal. Each of them offers a different perspective. They have different backgrounds, but they are so smart, and I was so floored by their just what they can offer Arizonans, whether it's, making sure that we're thinking long-term on clean energy, making sure that rates don't go up all the time. If, anytime APS wants to increase rates, or, an electric company wants to increase rates, like they understand just how important this seat is. And we're going to have to help folks understand what this Corporation Commission actually is. And I think for most people don't know what it is. They don't know how it affects their daily lives. And so we're going to help them we're going to make sure that people understand that voting for our Democrats will help, make the lives of their children better. They're gonna, what the Republicans on the Corporation Commission want to do right now is turn Arizona into Texas with the rolling blackouts, like privatizing everything, just selling it all off and not having any regulations. That's their goal. From my perspective, their goal. So we're just it's gonna take it's gonna take work. It's a little confusing what the commission is, but we're gonna break it down and make sure people understand. And it's just going to take a big organizing effort of talking to people at the doors, talking to people at town halls across the state, and helping them understand.
What initiatives are you supporting to increase union strength and enrollment, as well as worker rights?
At the party, our goal, like my background is labor. I was a union steward for almost 20 years. I understand, the power of being in a union. We have a small footprint union. Our union density in Arizona is pretty small. With that being said, unions are strong in Arizona. Unions are strong. Unions support the Democratic Party. Unions support Democratic candidates up and down the ticket. I would probably argue that, I don't think, a lot, maybe, I don't know, it's just my own theory. Maybe some candidates wouldn't be legislators at this moment or elected without union support. It's a big deal. Unions provide boots on the ground. They provide their PAC checks, which are union members giving every single month into their union PAC. So every dollar that a candidate or an elected takes from a union PAC comes from a worker, comes from a call center worker, which is what I was for many years, comes from a technician, comes from whatever union they're in. These dollars are hard earned. So I think, I'm focused on getting the word out and talking to, helping to educate some candidates and electeds on unions. But at the end of the day, we're here to help get Democrats elected. We don't pass policy, but, obviously it would be amazing to have pro-union Democrats up and down the ticket. And that's the main goal. But for right now, for November, I'm just trying to get everybody elected.
Okay, next question, which I'm interested as a poll worker. How are we preparing for a potentially huge ballot packed with MAGA measures, drowning out critical laws like access to abortion?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I know that the legislature is trying to circumvent the process and just send everything to the ballot, and that's going to take some research, and it's going to take teams and time to put together a ballot guide, a voter guide with recommendations on what we would recommend on these things. So I think sometimes that becomes like a barrier for some folks to go out and vote, because they see this gigantic ballot, and if they don't have the information, sometimes folks, and I've heard this said, folks have told me this, they'd rather just not even vote because they feel silly not filling it out completely. So I think it's gonna, we're working on voter guides. We've set some money aside in the budget to do that, and we're just gonna have to talk about it and talk to people about it and make sure that we share that information of what's good for Arizonans and what is not good.
Speaking of clean energy, in early 2022, our now Senator Priya Sundaresan passed a resolution through the state committee for ADP's new headquarters to go solar. What is the status of that?
That's a good question. I'll have to get back to you on that.
Do you have a message for young voters turned off by Biden over Gaza?
What's happening in Gaza is heartbreaking, just horrific. And I support the president's and vice president's push now for a ceasefire. And with that being said, what's on the ballot in November are abortion rights. What's on the ballot in November is our democracy. What's on the ballot in November is, stability, the economy. So I think it is horrible. I wish there was something we could do that I could do from here. But I would just, what I would just keep telling folks is what's on the ballot in November right here in Arizona are these things. And we may not have a democracy if Donald Trump wins again. He has said he will be a dictator on day one. He has said all these horrific things. I mean, fangirls over Vladimir Putin. His former chief of staff said that he was a fan of Adolf Hitler. Like, this is a very dangerous man. And I think we need to understand that, fascism is right around the corner if we do not stop him. And we can't stop him. I think there are more of us. There are more of us people that believe that, that we want stability. We don't want chaos and election deniers and conspiracy theorists. We want stability. We want people to have a better life. And so I think there's a lot at stake. But I understand. It's a horrible situation.
Yolanda, thank you so much for your valuable time in talking to us today. You've given us a lot of inspiration, and I want to thank you and urge you to keep doing what you're doing, and let's take it all the way to the November election and win it.